Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bound to Talk Football. I'm your host, Blake Walker. Alongside of me is Paul Arridge. A little bit behind today. You're going to get this around Wednesday, mid-afternoon. Paul had a couple things last night. I was out calling a volleyball game in Ankeny. Go Hawks, by the way. They did win. Shout out to the Ankeny Hawks. Former alumni, Paul Arridge. That was a fun game. So, always like calling volleyball. But Paul, it's midweek, which that means RPI. RPI came out on Monday. We've been going through the RPI. We posted district stuff, which we'll talk about. There's a lot of very spicy district stuff that we're going to talk about. We're also going to touch on a couple things for the top four, and then we have a couple questions and hot takes. And I think this week I want to go at it just really quick. Like, answer the questions. Just like don't even just what's off the top of our head. On the show sheet, I have that going last, but I'm going to do that first just so we can get that out of the way. Thanks to everyone that submitted questions and whatnot, or hot takes or predictions. You can always do that on our Instagram page. I guess let's catch up real quick. Paul, it's a cool week outside. The weather's nice. Forecast not looking so good for Friday night.
No, it is not. It's going to be a rainy day. Is that correct? And a little cold?
It's going to be not favorable for some teams. We'll start out with our Bound social media questions. Again, we'll just kind of go quick and just kind of give our quick thoughts here because I want to get to the RPI stuff. Jathan South, he's not fooling anyone. He's from ACGC. He's the ACGC quarterback. But ACGC over Madrid is in a serious conversation. That's his hot take. I'm going to say right now, you go first. I don't know yet.
I'd probably say Madrid's for me. I got them having the edge mainly because of their strength of schedule. I feel like they played a dog every single week. And ACGC's got some decent teams they played. They play Earlham, South Central Calhoun, Panorama, but I think Madrid's played some like ridiculous. Like I remember there was like a span of 4 weeks where I think they played like a top 10 team.
Yeah. ACGC is going to hate us for saying it, but I think Madrid right now is the better team. I mean, if they played each other head to head, I think Madrid would win, and they're going to be so mad that we said that. But don't get me wrong, they're a phenomenal team. I mean, they've really stepped up this year. They're still undefeated, as they like to remind people. I think they're a phenomenal football team. I just, like you said, Madrid just played a tougher schedule. I mean, South Central Calhoun isn't crazy. You know, there's panoramas.
They've beat some teams that Madrid's beat worse.
Yeah.
So Earlham, ACGC beat worse. Mount Air was a 1 point game for Madrid, and ACGC beat them by like 40. So
it's close. I mean, it's really close. It is really close how these two teams shape up. The thing is that the top two in that class are so above and beyond everyone else. So it's like if ACGC and Madrid had to face, it might be a playoff game. Maybe be a heck of a playoff game. Can you imagine that game to go to the Dome? That'd be cool. I kind of hope we get it.
That would suck.
Kind of hope we get it because that's a really fun game. But Jathan, your Chargers are really good, man. I don't know. I'll say this is a serious conversation. Yes, it's a serious conversation.
Yeah.
How about that? We'll answer it that way. Go Chargers, go Tigers. O_Thompson13. I put this in here, Paul, because I think everybody is thinking this is what's going to happen. Dowling defeats Southeast Polk this week, and then we get a rematch in the state title game, and Southeast Polk wins. How about this? You could say this anyway. Is this how this week's going to go? Like, do you think the winner of this week loses if they face again?
Yeah. I feel like that's a stereotypical thing because being a team twice and they're two really good teams. But I think I don't know. We haven't posted our game of the week picks yet, I guess. So
no,
probably shouldn't leak mine, even though it doesn't really matter much. I don't know. I think how I'll answer this question is I think whoever gets the rematch in the title, the opposite team. I don't know. I think the team stays 2-0 against that team.
I was going to say because you learn quite a bit from them, you know? So it's like, I would just wonder how big of a difference it's going to be. I don't think this week will be, I think the deficit this week will be more than 10, the winner. I don't think this will be a 7 3-point game. History says it won't be. Besides the Hail Mary back in 2020 or 2021 or whatever, history says this game's never really that close. I mean, it's just kind of a pretty straightforward game. So
Abu Sama was playing for the
yeah,
like 4 touchdowns and 200 yards.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a great game. We'll hope for the best. I protect something like that. He says Logan Magnolia, sneaky team in Class A. The thing is, Logan Magnolia was up there in a couple things. I can't remember who they lost to. I think they got really beat by
no, they beat Kingsley. They beat
Kingsley because that was a game that we were on.
They lost to Woodbury by like 30.
So that's the tough one. Yes, you can be a team sleeping or sneaky in Class A, but the ability not to hold up with the guys at the top was a tough one. They're not even top 10, so they got to figure that out. But I think they have a good team.
Yeah. Sneaky's fine with me. I mean, they're got one loss.
Paul and I will be given our sleeper team per class, one sleeper team per class when it comes to our playoff predictions, which, by the way, we're not going to predict the entire playoffs because we're going to predict the week-by-week basis, but I don't want to predict the whole playoff, and then we won't have anything to do the rest of the week. So we're just going to go by a week-by-week basis, but we will pick our sneaky team and whatnot. So go with that as you will. Another one that people are saying they're sleeping on, Nolan Hodgkins. How do you say that last name? Hodgson? Hodgson. 78. Everyone is sleeping on Lamar's. Here's the thing with Lamar's. I don't think they've played a hard enough schedule. That's my thing on Lamar's. They get Denison Schleswig this week. I'm pretty sure it's the top of the district. I think the winner gets. It is. I think Denison wins.
Yeah, I like Denison. I think Denison's probably better.
Yeah,
they've got. I mean, I'd have to deep dive on their opponents, but there's not a single team they've played that's like.
It's not great by any means.
Yeah.
So
not ideal.
Take that as you will. I just saw that Matt posted about Graham Beckman, first QB to over 2,000 yards. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Lane Waddle 22. I like this. He says Sioux Center's making the dome. I will say it's a tough class, but the way Sioux Center's playing, I don't hate this.
Yeah. They lost to Westline by only 12, which honestly, they've obviously got a defense that can contend.
Yeah.
And they beat pretty decent team. I mean, Bishop Heumann, they beat.
Who beat Lamar's?
It was MOC Floyd Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Who Sioux Center
beat.
Yeah. I like the take, honestly.
I do too. I think they're set up well for a spot to get there. So they've played well. Their quarterback play has been great. They have.
Field is called Open Space Athletic Complex. Wow.
What's up?
Their home field's called Open Space Athletic Complex.
I know they have a kid going to Kansas because I had used a picture of him going for the post last week. So that's pretty cool. But
Person Burn or
good for Sioux Center. Last one. I guess this can lead in when we talk about the rankings. Braden Spindler says Marion should be top 10 in the RPI. I agree. I was very surprised that they beat Decorah and then didn't move. I don't think they changed. They stayed at 12. The thing is, though, they've lost to the two best teams they've faced pretty handily. So it's not like
Western Dubuque yet.
Yeah, so it's not like it was crazy that they should be there. But I was kind of surprised because, you beat number 5 Decorah. I thought for sure that would be a booster, if you will. But
I got Mason City coming up.
Yep.
That would be a must win for them. And then they've got Waverly Shell Rock, which honestly
that's the big one.
That's scary for them. Even though
you wouldn't think a 1-6 team or whatever be that scary, but Waverly Shell Rock's pretty scary. So respect the Go Hawks. That's our questions. We just wanted to breeze through them. Paul's kind of on a time crunch this week, but we appreciate everyone for going through. We're going to have a good playoff one here soon. where really dig in, give us your playoff stuff. We'll talk about our upset prediction of the week in a little bit. I didn't put one. I'll have to think off one off the top of my head. So let's go to the RPI. First of all, I want to go about how the playoffs work. Troy Hyde sent me a message on Twitter kind of simplifying. I think he just took what was on the high school association's website. But here's just your quick rundown because I didn't explain it well last week. The top 4 teams in Class A, 1A, 2A, all advance to the playoffs. Top 4 teams in the district. So the districts are bigger. Top 4 teams make it. We'll talk about the top 4 teams. Paul will have those pulled up. So as of right now, what would happen? The top 3 teams advance in 8-man. Top 3 teams in the district. They go to the playoffs. In classes A, 1A, and 2A, the district champion, district runner-up, district third-place team, and the district fourth-place team obviously all qualify. That's what I just said. For the first round of the playoffs, there will be 16 contests. After the first round, teams will be placed into 4 pods of 4 teams for second and quarterfinal round pairings. So basically, the first round is just kind of you're in, see what happens from there. Then you kind of reseed and get things figured out. 3A, obviously, is the wild card system. Work through it. You get top 3. That's the same thing for 8-player, by the way. I think there's wild cards for 8-player. So, and we don't have RPI for 8-player technically, so we can't really figure that out. But 3A, top 12, top 2 in each district make it, 4 wild cards. 4A, same thing. 5A, top 16 make it. So I kind of wish everything was like 5A just because it's simple and it works. But sometimes you get teams at the back. So we'll start with Class 5A, Paul. Not really any crazy surprises here. Southeast Polk at number 1, Dowling Catholic number 2, Bettendorf 3, Pleasant Valley 4. Nothing changes there. Cedar Rapids Kennedy is up to number 5. Good team. I'm excited for Cedar Rapids Kennedy.
Yeah, they got a big one coming up against Cedar Falls, I believe. I don't know if that's this week, but
I
feel like it is.
I'd be curious to know about that.
It is this week at the Dome. So
all right, so there's a big test. Boy, that would be such a Cedar Falls game to win that.
They did it, I think. Kennedy, I think, won randomly.
I will say, we'll talk about Cedar Falls jumped they jumped in this week's RPI. They're a good 4-3 team, according to
yeah. No, I've always felt like they've been a good,
I have too.
They weird me out. I don't know why they're not better.
Ankeny at number 6. The Hawks really just took care of business against Iowa City Liberty late in that one. They get Valley this week, which you wouldn't think a 2-5 Valley team would be that tough of a game, but I think Valley's going to come prepared to play.
Yeah. That's their game. That's a playoff game.
The way that it works out is kind of funny. So number 7, Waukee Northwest. Really what's on the line this week between Waukee Northwest and Ankeny Centennial, the winner gets to host a home playoff game and a loser gets to go on the road. That's pretty much what settles this week between those two teams, because both these teams next week have games that they should win. So winner of Waukee Northwest and Centennial gets home playoff advantage. If Centennial, fun fact, if Centennial gets home playoff advantage and Ankeny does, Centennial will play, one of the teams will play at 4:00 at Ankeny Stadium, and then the other team will play at 7:00 or 7:30. So they'll do 2 games at the same time or at the same stadium, just back to back. So that kind of would stink to play a playoff game at 4:00 in the afternoon, but
yeah, that would be.
That's a different traveling thing too.
Can we talk about Valley's opponent record?
We'll talk about Valley here in a second. We'll get there to Valley. Just give me a second.
I just was looking at them.
Waukee drops from number 5 to number 8. Waukee should win out. Waukee's going to get home field advantage. They have Council Bluffs Lincoln, and then they have I can't remember who they have this week. Roosevelt. Roosevelt. Sorry, they play Roosevelt on Thursday night. So should get to 7-2. Waukee. You'll get a home playoff game. Prairie jumps back up to number 9. They are the best 3-loss team. Eye test wise, I don't agree, but it's not an eye test, which is the RPI. Centennial's at number 10. I thought the Jags might be in a little bit of trouble, but they're jumping up not badly after being 13th. Cedar Falls at 11, Linn-Mar at 12, Iowa City High at 13, Iowa City West at 14, Sioux City East at 15. Urbandale drops all the way to 16th at 4-3. The Johnston Dragons, Paul, they didn't wait very long. They're already up to 17th at 3-4.
Yeah, there's been a lot of this. As we said last week, it all works itself out.
Yeah.
All those people that saw like Johnson, what were they, like 20 something? I
They're
think it was.
23rd.
Yeah, like it all works itself out. It's heavily based on opponent record. I know the formula that we use is heavily based on that. So I saw there's some Twitter convo about like why are these Central Iowa teams all of a sudden jumping? It's not a bias; it's just a straight formula.
Yeah.
That's how it works, and it works pretty
I
well.
think Johnson's schedule is favorable the rest of the way, is it not?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to kind of win out. I'll double check that real quick. But.
So, I mean, they'll finish 5-4. I mean, that's not bad. They'll be a. I mean, I hate to say it.
So that's a big bubble game, technically, if you want to talk. That's a big rivalry too.
Who?
And the Johnson has Urbandale and then Sioux City East.
Oh,
So big,
yeah.
kind of big bubble games.
Okay, so yeah.
All those teams are at the bubble.
But here's the thing.
17, 16, 15 play each other.
They could end up being a 5-4 team that could be 13th or 12th in the RPI. I mean, they're not going to get a bad RPI spot.
Yeah, no.
I think that would set them up with Kennedy, Ankeny, Northwest.
Kennedy does not want to see Johnson.
Yeah. Oof.
Because
can you imagine that game? That's like Rams Chiefs in that Monday Night Football game a couple years ago. We're going to see 50-49.
Yeah. Ankeny Johnson would be scary too.
Ankeny Johnston after last year would be very scary. Yeah. Well, and this year,
Bettendorf are praying honestly that they probably dropped to play Eastern Iowa team.
Yeah. Hempstead is at 18th with a 4-3 record. Davenport West 4-3 at 19, and the Valley Tigers jump 8 spots in the RPI. It only took one win over Waterloo West, who was on the cutoff, jumps all the way to number 20. We've said it; people just didn't believe it. Valley can make it at 4-5. Valley's opponent record is 40-23. That's 2 games more. Nobody even has 39 and 20. Where am I looking? 24. So Valley is 40-23 opponent record. That's what's saving the Tigers. It's simple. Beat Ankeny, you're probably in because I don't know who they have the last week of the season, but they should win. It's simple. Beat Ankeny.
I will say, for the people saying they're getting saved by their opponent record, they've competed with basically
almost beat Southeast Polk.
They've hung with Sepp. They hung with Dowling. Hung with Johnson. Was it Johnson? Did they play Johnson?
Yes. Yeah.
I know Waukee kind of.
Waukee was really the only game that you're like, okay.
Waukee Northwest, they literally lost by 3.
Yeah.
So
Valley's a good. I mean,
they're a good team.
They're figuring things out
because they've had bad injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries you don't expect in a high school football team where you lose your starting QB and like starting wide receivers.
The injury bug has killed them. Ames is right below them at 21. The thing about Ames is that they played a tough schedule to start, and they should win their last 2 games, but I don't know if 5-4 for Ames is going to get them in because they lost to Valley. So that's one you're already going to be behind. But Ames might be a close bubble team. I don't know. We still got one more week. There's still a lot to look forward to. But Valley's the story everybody's talking about. Can they get in at 4-5? I think they can. They will. If they beat Ankeny, I don't think people realize that. If they beat Ankeny, I bet they could jump to the top 16 at 3-5. I mean, yeah, that's how this could work out. So
yep. The last team that I'm kind of interested in that can maybe hang around is Muscatine.
Could, yep.
They got Davenport North and Dubuque Senior. I think those are 2 winnable games for them.
The only problem is those aren't 2 great RPI victories, but they'll be a close 5-4.
Yeah, close 5-4. They're preying on. I mean, Sioux City East and Johnson, in my opinion, are gonna probably drop out.
Never know. Could get it good. Just depends. That's Class 5A. It's getting good. We'll jump down to Class 4A. ADM at number 1 does not move. We're hoping Aiden Flora can play. We don't know Aiden Flora's status, but we'll have to see. Western Dubuque at number 2. Lewis Central number 3. Bondurant defeats Gilbert, moves up to number 4. I like how people thought Bondurant would jump really high, and it's like, well, you got to realize Gilbert wasn't a great number 1, so it's not like that's like a amazing win by any means. North Polk's at 5 at 5-2. Glenwood is tied for 5th at 5. Glenwood's so weird, man. They're good, but like their wins aren't great. It's a weird spot.
Funky spot because they've lost to good teams barely and then just kind of beat bad teams
Right.
after that. Like they don't really have like a mid win, which sounds weird. They don't have like a impressive win. They don't have a single really impressive win.
Number 7, Norwalk. The Warriors lost to. Did they lose this week? No, they won. They lost last week to Dallas Center Grimes.
Yeah.
If they cannot turn the ball over, they might be a team to watch. The big one everybody was talking about, Gilbert drops to number 8. That's not good if you're Gilbert, because if you would have dropped to 5 or 6, sure. But this is clearly saying, hey, your schedule has not been good. If you just keep losing, you're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they have to beat Newton or Pella.
Yeah. If they just take one, that's it. You just have to take one, and you're going to get in.
One.
We'll bring up the district here in a second, and we'll talk about them. But Gilbert has a 25-38 opponent record. That is the worst besides Oskaloosa down at 27th spot, who has a 24-39 record. That's tough.
Very tough.
That is tough. And Storm Lake, 23-40. So
no.
Well, I'm sorry, I had to bring it up.
Tornadoes, dude.
So Gilbert's at 8. Decorah drops from 5 to 9. 32-31 record. That's helping them a little bit. Xavier jumps up to 10. Xavier's going to be just fine. We talked about that. 30-33 opponent record. Not great. Lamar's at number 11. Boy, District 1 is rough. We'll talk about districts here in a second, but District 1 is really rough. Just saying. What'd you say?
It's going to be weird when those teams have to play another playoff team.
Oh, there's one team in 3A that I'm like, ugh, ugly that they're going to make it if they do. Not that they're a bad team, but we'll talk about it. Marion at 12, North Scott at 13th, survived Clear Creek Amana. Kyle Girardi did play, I was told. So a healthy North Scott team beats Clear Creek Amana 16-14. Ugh, tough. I guess an ugly win's an ugly win, but
I think CCA has it.
Oh, they're a good team. No, they play a tough.
Yeah,
they play a tough schedule.
Awful, but
Denison Schleswig at 14 at 5-2. The first 4-3 team is Indianola at 15th. Pella at 16. Newton at 17. Just weird that that's how that is, because they literally have the same opponent record, same record, but Newton owns the head-to-head. I don't know. I just thought that was really weird with the RPI. But Newton would get in over Pella. Ballard at 18th, Dallas Center Grimes at 19th, Council Bluffs, Thomas Jefferson. How about Thomas Jefferson hanging in tight at number 20? And then Winterset, the best 2 and 5 teams at 21. Boone only drops 2 spots after losing to Des Moines North at 22. All right, Paul, let's look at the districts, because this is what everybody was talking about. Let's give you your rundown, shall we? District 1. Not good. Lamar's is first. Denison Schleswig is second. Lamar's is 11th in the RPI. Denison is 14th. It's pretty straightforward. Nobody behind them is going to make it, but that's a rough district. That your best
tornadoes like that.
Don't
count out my tornadoes like that.
Okay, well, they're 29th, so they got a lot of work to do.
5-4 Storm Lake.
The winner wins the district this week. Lamar's can lose this week. Denison Schleswig can lose this week, and it won't matter. Denison will still get in. But the winner takes the district, so you get a higher seed, I guess. But rough district, not great. District 2, 3 teams in from District 2. Western Dubuque, number 1. Decorah, number 2. Marion, number 3. Marion did not jump Decorah, at least on the district standings that were on the association. Marion doesn't jump Decorah, I guess.
Even though they beat him?
Yeah, that's how it lines up. So, again, I don't know if that's fully correct, but on the district page on the association, Decorah is number 2.
I'm sure they'd fix, if they were building the bracket, I feel like they'd fix that.
Well, either way, Marion is also in as a wild card. And if it's not Marion, it's Decorah in as a wild card. Waverly, Shell Rock, Mason City, Waterloo East bring up the rear. District number 3, it's Xavier, North Scott, and everybody else. Clear Creek, Amana, Burlington, Oskey, and Clinton make up the rear. North Scott's going to be fine. They pretty much clinched it this week. So Xavier and North Scott are in. District 4, this is fun. This is a fun district. Bondurant is clinched. That's a given. Gilbert is second. Newton is third. Pella is fourth. Newton beat Pella in a tiebreaker, so they own that. Basically, Pella can get in if Newton loses to Gilbert and Pella beats Gilbert. Newton gets in if they beat Gilbert. and Gilbert gets in if they beat Newton and beat Pella. So there's your rundown of the mill. Pella still has to play Bondurant. I think that's this week. So that, I guess maybe that could eliminate Pella from contention. But I don't know, man. Gilbert's got to be careful because they could miss the playoffs at 6-3.
Are we going to be looking at Pella as that like Ankeny in basketball last year, how they beat Waukee?
Maybe. It's just a weird.
Xavier's not Waukee, but
yeah, it's just a weird. It's a good win, but it's a tough
season
one.
saving because if they lost that one,
honestly. District number 5, ADM and North Polk are at the top. I think that's pretty much a clinch. I know Ballard beat North Polk, but I think North Polk's clinched. What's not going to help North Polk is they still have to face ADM at the end of the season. So I don't know. That might still be up in the air. Either way, they're at number 5 in the RPI. Indianola has a wild card spot at 15th. Ballard 3-4. I guess the Bombers could still get in. I don't know who they have the rest of the way. Des Moines North at 31. Boone, technically at the bottom of the district, but has a better RPI at 22. And then this one's really interesting. Lewis Central is number 1 in District 6. Glenwood is number 2. I think those will stay the same. Dallas Center Grimes is 3rd in the district, but they're not in. Norwalk, who they beat in a head-to-head, is 4th in the district at 5-2. But because Norwalk has number 7 in the RPI, because it's top 2 in district, then whoever is in the RPI ranking, Norwalk is in over Dallas Center Grimes. Norwalk could finish 4th in their district out of 6 teams, and they'll still make the playoffs. So
yeah,
that's kind of tough how that rolls out, but take that as you will. There's your 4A district standings. It's going to get fun. 3A is a little bit more exciting, so we'll go down to 3A. Clear Lake, the Lions, are the new number 1 team, a 30-33 opponent record. Below them is Creston at 7-0. Paul, Creston's opponent record is a little tough.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
28-35. That is the worst, going down to Bishop Heelan, who has a 26-37 record. Interesting. Look at Humboldt's record, 40-23.
Yeah, they play good teams.
Clear Lake's number 1, Creston's number 2. Solon jumps to number 3 after beating Williamsburg. Williamsburg is at number 4. Sioux Center jumps Nevada. I hate to say it, because Nevada beat Harlan, Nevada loses a ranking spot because now Harlan's back up to 16th. So Sioux Center jumps Nevada. Mount Vernon's number 7. Independence is number 8. Algona at 9. Webster City at 10. That district's insane. We'll talk about that in a second. Mm-hmm. Bishop Heelan at 11 with a 26-37 record. Assumption back up to 12th. Humboldt 13th. Grinnell defeats Benton, jumps to the 14th position. Hampton-Domont Cal continues to slip. They're down to 15th. Harlan at 16th. West Delaware lost a crucial game to Wahlert Catholic. They're back at 17th. MOC Floyd Valley 18th. Benton 19th. Wahlert Catholic 20th. And then Fort Madison Keokuk. The districts get really interesting here. We'll start with the first one. Sioux Center and Bishop Heelan at the top of District 1, both at 6-1. Sioux Center has the advantage because I think they beat Bishop Heelan.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so that's Sioux Center is pretty much a lock for the beginning, the top of the district. MOC Floyd Valley, I guess, could sneak in. I don't know who their losses are to, but Bishop Heelan might be in trouble. Maybe. They got to keep it up, though. Their schedule just hasn't been there. Paul, this is, as Cade and IA Sports said it, this is the district of death in a way. This is Class 3A district number 2. Listen to this. Clear Lake clinched. Doesn't matter. They're in. Algona, for the most part, should be clinched, maybe.
They're a little worried if they lose to Webster City. Bro.
Okay, got to beat Webster City. And then get this. Webster City is 3rd at 5-2. They are number 10 in the RPI. Humboldt is number 4. They are 4-3 in the RPI. Or they are 4-3, 13th in the RPI. Hampton-Dumont Cal, 15th. They are 4-3 in the RPI. Or, 15th in the RPI, 4-3. What I just read off, all 5 of those teams would be in the playoffs if it started today, because Humboldt, Webster City, and Hampton-Dumont Cal would all be wildcard teams because they are 10th, 13th, and 15th. The only other wild card would go to Grinnell down in District 5. Charles City is 26. That's still not bad. I mean, 26 is actually pretty good.
And they're 3-4.
Yeah, so someone's going to miss it. There's no way all 5 make it. It's just not going to happen because you're going to beat each other, blah, blah, blah. Hampton-Dumont Cal, unfortunately, seems to be like the odd team out here.
Humboldt does have Clear Lake
Okay, so Humboldt, it's still possible that they only advance 2. But, boy, that's a tough district.
Crazy.
Should be fun to watch the rest of the way. Here's the one that was like the biggest disparity. District 3, Independence at 6-1 is number 8 in the RPI. And then Wahlert Catholic, because they beat West Delaware, pushes themselves to the number 2 spot at 4-3. Wahlert Catholic's not even top 16 in the RPI. They're down in 20th. Those are the ones that kind of frustrate you if you're any other team that's going to miss it, because you're like, well, dang, we were much better than a team RPI wise, but because they were top 2 in their district, they're going to get in. But Wahlert Catholic took advantage and got a good win over a West Delaware team.
Yeah. Yep. You can't really blame it because everyone knows how the season works. So
yeah.
You got to win, I guess.
District 4, Mount Vernon, number 1 at 6-1. They're number 7 in the RPI. Assumption 5-2. They're number 12 in the RPI. The Knights and the Mustangs, they've already faced head-to-head. I don't see Assumption losing to any of the other teams. I think these two are pretty much a lock for the most part, with Keokuk and Fort Madison bringing up the rear. I think, just kind of goes either way. District 5 settles out in a couple weeks. Well, settles out this week pretty much. Solon defeated Williamsburg, so Solon jumps to the number 1 spot at number 3 in the RPI. Williamsburg is at number 4. Williamsburg takes on Grinnell this week. The winner of that game will pretty much clinch a playoff spot. The other will have to go to the wild card. Grinnell has a very tough task ahead of them, but Grinnell is the second to last team in right now. So I guess they can afford to lose in a way, but they're going to be right there on the cusp when it comes to the RPI. Yeah. They finished the season out with Fairfield, so they should win that game, but they'll be definitely sitting on pins and needles waiting for the RPI. Benton lost to Grinnell, so Benton pretty much is out. They're at number 19, Fairfield 25, South Tama 35. And then in district number 6, Creston is the number 1 team at 7-0. Nevada is at 6-1. They are number 6 in the RPI. It's pretty simple. Winner of this game gets the RPI or the district championship game. The loser is second, and they'll just go into the playoffs as the 2 seed of their district. Atlantic is above Harlan. I have no idea why that is. I think that might have been a typo on the association. Atlantic's number 23. Paul, as of right now, Harlan would not make the playoffs. They would be the first team out.
I think that'll work itself out.
I think so, too. They're going to win their last 2 games. I don't think you need to hit the panic button if you're Harlan. Harlan's going to make the playoffs. Knoxville at 33, Perry at 34. So a lot of fun. 3A is really interesting. We're going to hurry things along so Paul can get out of here before he has to go eat lunch or go to class at noon. But we're going to keep moving along. We'll jump to our Class 2A standings. Paul, do you have the districts pulled up just so you can quickly read when we finish? So I'm going to go through the rankings, and then we'll just have you quickly read through who the top 4 are in 2A, 1AA, top 3, and 8-player. And then we'll just go through that. Class 2A rankings, courtesy of the IHSAA. Central Lyon, number 1, no surprise. Van Meter at number 2, West Lyon at 3. Central Lyon plays West Lyon this week. Monticello at number 4. Spirit Lake at number 5. Kemper Catholic, number 6. Western Christian drops to 7 after the loss to Central Lyon at number 7. Clarinda at 8. PCM 9th. Mediapolis, number 10. Really no changes there besides Spirit Lake and Kemper moving up, and Western Christian at number 7. Any thoughts on Class 2A?
Not much. I mean,
it's top heavy.
Yeah, top heavy. Very top heavy. I mean, we've kind of I like the top 3.
That's the thing.
It's been like a 2 team, quote unquote, but I think West Lyon's good enough to be included in this combo up top 3. But after that,
it's tough.
Yeah.
There's definitely a disparity. Class 1A, Grundy Center and Underwood lead the pack, and they seem in a league of their own right now. 1 and 2. Sumner Fredericksburg is up to number 3. MFL Marmac at number 4. Wilton goes all the way up to number 5 after the defeat of West Branch. They get number 6 Regina this week. Sigourney Kyoto at 7. Columbus Catholic at 8. Trainer back into the top 10 at number 9. Their only loss is by 50 to Underwood. And then South Hamilton is up to number 10. South Hamilton, a 1-loss team sneaking up there. West Branch and Denver especially drops out of the top 10. So no faith in the Denver Cyclones. They have played their 2 toughest games and they have lost them. So I can't understand that. But the Cyclones and the Bears drop out. Any thoughts on Class 1A?
Not really too much. I like Wilton jumping up. big Wilton guy now after proving me wrong with West Branch. Other than that, I mean, Grundy.
Leading the pack.
Yep.
Underwood right with him. Excuse me.
Mostly
Class A is St. Ansgar out front, Woodbury Central number 2, West Hancock number 3, Madrid number 4, Lisbon number 5. Lisbon's still undefeated. Wapsie Valley, who has a loss, is over ACGC at 7. So there's your answer about ACGC, according to the guys that are voting. They don't think ACGC is really worth anything because they have ACGC below Lisbon, who has a way worse opponent record than ACGC, and below Wapsie Valley, who has only lost comes to Denver. So take that as you will, but clearly the 4 guys do not think ACGC is that great. Linville Sully's at number 8. They are just waiting for Cordentown Harder to come back. Starmont jumps to the number 9 position. They get a crucial district game with Maquoketa Valley this week, and Akron Westfield holds at number 10. I think, Paul, the top 3 are locks. It's a fight for 4th.
Yep. I think 4 through 8.
Yeah.
It's all combos.
Really no.
I think Linville's totally just waiting.
Yeah.
They're scary.
And they're still good. That's the thing. Like, even without Quarter, they've been decent.
Yeah.
Their defense is still very good. So keep an eye on the Hawks, man. They don't want anybody to leave them out yet. And down to 8-player, Winfield Mount Union number 1. Bedford jumps to number 2. How about the Bedford Bulldogs, man? What a story. Cam at number 3. Clarksville jumps from number 9 to number 4 after the upset over Gladbrook Rhinebeck. Clarksville jumps Remsen St. Mary's. Remsen stays at number 5. Gladbrook Rhinebeck drops back to 6th. Don Bosco 7th jumps Central City. I don't know what Central City did to drop 1 spot after beating Lone Tree, but I guess that happens. And then Lennox is at number 9 and Waco is at number 10. Really haven't seen much changes there.
Yeah. Am I wild for saying like I see like 8 dome computers?
Yeah, you're totally right. You are totally right. 8 of those teams can make it. Wow. All right, Paul, give me your top 4 in the district for 2A, 1A, A, and then give me the top 3 and 8-player, just so we can let people know who's in right now.
All right, so 2A1 or District 1, Central Lyon locked in there, obviously at number 1. West Lyon, number 2. Western Christian, number 3. And then Cherokee Washington, number 4. Other than those, it looks like all those 4 teams are kind of locked in there.
Okay.
Sheldon and Unity Christian are the other 2. They're 2 and 5, while the other Cherokee Washington is sitting at 4 and 3. 2A2, District 2, Spirit Lake, number 1 at 6 and 1. Then we got ELC at 4 and 3. And then we've got kind of a cluster at 3 and 4. Clareton, Goldfield Dows at they're 3 and 4 at number 3, and then Forest City right below them at 3 and 4. Other than that, those 4 teams look like a lock. Okay. I feel like that's how it's going to go for most of these.
Yeah.
Walk on. Wow. Okay, this is an interesting district decision. Yeah. Walk on 4 and 3 leading the way. New Hampton number 2 is 3 and 4. North Fayette Valley 3 and 4, and then Osage is in there at 3 and 4.
Jeez.
Crestwood's still there 2 and 5. So if they win out, maybe there's a shot. Am I wild for saying like Osage is like one of the best teams in this district, and they're 4th? Interesting. 2A, District 4, we've got Monticello at 6 and 1, Anamosa 4 and 3, Tipton at 4 and 3, and then Comanche. Blake, did I say that right? Comanche. I'm correcting myself. 3 and 4. Northeast is actually knocking on the door there. They're tied actually at 4th. Other than that, it's West Liberty at 1 and 6. Geez, these playoffs are like huge. Minneapolis 5 and 2. Albia 4 and 3, West Burlington, Notre Dame 4 and 3, and Central Lee 3 and 4. Mid Prairie's tied with them at 3 and 4. So this is a good district. Competitive wise, looks like this could change up quite a bit depending on how those schedules finish out. 2A6, we've got PCM at 5 and 2, Jesup 4 and 3, Iowa Falls Aldin at 2 and 5, and West Marshall 2 and 5. Those seem like a lock as long as Union Community doesn't pull something out. And then for the last 2 districts, you got 2A District 7 Van Meter, the wrecking ball that they've been this year. They're 7 and 0. They've got that one unlocked. Clarinda at 5 and 2. We've got Sheridan 3 and 4, and Clark at 3 and 4. Interstate 35 tied with all 3 of them at 3 and 4 as well. So that's a competitive district besides Van Meter being really, really good. And the last district, 2A, District 8, Kemper Catholic, 5-2 leads the way and tied with Roland Story and Southeast Valley. So this district's very competitive. 3 teams, 5-2 at the top. And then Des Moines Christian and Greene County tied at the bottom at 3-4. So that's 2A.
I just pulled up 1A and 8 players, so we'll go back and forth. You could do Class A, and then we'll just run through them.
That's my
Class
first.
1A, District 1, OABCIG at number 1, Hinton 2, West Sioux 3, Ridgeview at 4. Those are your locks. Lawton, Bronson, MVAOCOU bring up the rear. District 2, Emmitsburg at number 1, Manson, New Northwest Webster at number 2, Pocahontas area at 3, Sioux Central at 4, Esac County and Eagle Grove are currently on the outside looking in. District 3, your playoff teams as of right now, MFL Marmac at 1, Dike New Hartford 2nd, Sumner Fredericksburg at 3, Denver at 4. Whoo, that's a good district. Applington Parkersburg at 5, Central Springs at 6. They are out. District 4, Grundy Center, Columbus Catholic, South Hardin, and Hudson are all in the playoffs as of right now. Albernet and East Marshall are out. Those won't change. They are 0-4. Both teams are 0-4 in the district, so that's pretty much a lock. District 5, Wilton, West Branch, Regina, Cascade, all would make it. Beckman Catholic and Durant would be sitting home from the sidelines. District 5, Sigourney, Keota, Pella Christian, Pleasantville, and Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont are all in. Cardinal and Colfax Mingo would be going home. District 7, South Hamilton, Woodward Granger, Grandview Christian, and West Central Valley would all make it. Ogden, Nottoway Valley are on the outside looking in. And District 8, Underwood, Trainer, AHSTW, and Shenandoah all would be in. Red Oak and Missouri Valley would be going home. On to Class A.
Class A, District 1, we got Akron Westfield 6-1 leading the way. Then we got MMCRU 5-2 at number 2, locked into that number 2 spot. And then we got Alta Aurelia, Blake.
Yep.
I'm hot. 3-4. And then Jelen Catholic.
What?
Catholic. Jelen Catholic, right?
I think it's Galen Catholic.
Gosh, dang, it was hot. 3-4.
I knew giving any of these teams was going to be a fun time.
Yep. 4th. Other than that, not much in this district. So those 4 seem pretty locked in. Moving on to A, District 2, we've got St. Ansgar, the number 1 team, 7-0. They're locked in, but I mean, this is a crazy district. They've got Lake Mills right behind them at 6-1, and then West Hancock at 6-1 right behind them. I believe Lake Mills and West Hancock play, correct? So that'll be decided. North Union 4-3 at the bottom of that district. Looks like they'll be fine sitting in that 4th spot. Class A, District 3. Sorry, bound. Worked for me. Thank you. Wapsie Valley 6-1, leading the way in District 3 with Nashua Plainfield 5-2, tied with North Butler, who's also 5-2, and then we've got South Winneshiek chilling in that 4th spot at 4-3. And moving on to Class A, District 4, we've got Maquoketa Valley at 6-1. Starmont at 6-1, who just broke into the top 10.
So winner gets the district title this week.
Yep. And then East Buchanan at 5-2, and North Lynn at 5-2. So competitive district here. Honestly, probably one of the more better top to bottom ones, besides the one with, for some reason, has St. Ansgar, Lake Mills, and West Hancock in it. Lisbon in District 5 leads the way at 7-0. Then we've got Columbus, who's 5-2. Pekin.
Yep.
5-2, huge. Danville 4-3, and then Van Buren County at 3-4. So they've got a chance. Other than that, that district is pretty locked up. Class A District 6, we got Madrid 7-0, leading the way, and then Linville solely right behind them at 6-1. And then we got Central Decatur in there as well at 5-2, and Mount Air at 3-4, and then Martinsdale, St. Mary's, and North Mahaska kind of on the outside knocking in. Class A District 7, we got ACGC undefeated 7-0, leading the way. South Central Calhoun, we've got them at 5-2. Earlham 4-3, they are in and tied with IKM Manning, who's tied with Panorama. So this is a competitive district. At the bottom there, we'll have to see who ends it. there are probably some teams playing each other. So that's probably an interesting district to keep track of. And then final district in Class A, District 8, Woodbury Central 7-0. They lead the way there as Logan Magnolia is sitting 6-1 right behind them. And then Kingsley Pearson 5-2 at 3. And then Tri-Center chilling in the 4th spot. And that's Class A.
In 8-player, the district champion, district runner-up, and district third-place team, and 2 statewide at-large qualifiers will qualify in. So literally the last 2 out. I need to go and look. I don't have who the last 2 out would be right now, but that'll be really fun to keep an eye on here as the week goes on. Wrap it up with 8-player. District 1, Remsen St. Mary's, Boyer Valley, and Woodbine would all be in. Arweva, Noel Fonda, West Harrison, Sewell, and Christian are not making it. District 2, Bishop Garrigan, West Bend Mallard, Harris Lake Park are all in. GTRA, Northwood Kensett, North Iowa, and Rockford are not going. Don Bosco, Riceville, and Key would make it in District 3. Turkey Valley is out. Waterloo Christian is out. West Central and Central Cater. Granted, I say out. I don't know who the other 2 at-large qualifiers would be. District 4, Clarksville takes the district over Gladbrook Rhinebeck at 2. Janesville makes it at number 3. Dunkerton, GMG, Tripoli, and Meskwaki Settlement all don't make it. District 5, Central City, Lone Tree, and Edgewood Colesburg all make it. Springville, Midland, Easton Valley, and Calamus Wheaton do not make it. District 6, Winfield, Mount Union, Waco, and Iowa Valley all are headed. English Valleys, New London, and HLV miss. District 7, Moravia, BGM, and Montezuma would all make it. Belle Plaine, Twin Cedars, Melcher, Dallas do not. District 8, Bedford, Lenox, and Southeast Warren would be in. Murray, East Union, Lamoni, and Mormon Trail would not make it. District 9, Audubon takes the win over Glidden Ralston, so they take the district. I guess Baxter can't win the district, but they do play them this week. Baxter plays Audubon. Baxter would be in. Colonesco is at number 4, Coon Rapids Bayer at 5, St. Edmund, Fort Dodge, and Collins Maxwell would not make it. And District 10, Cam would be in. Boy, the rest of this district is not good. Cam and then Exeria EHK would be in. Fremont Mills would be in. And then Stanton/Essex, Sydney, East Mills, and Griswold would not make it. So there's a little bit of your rundown. I will make a post of these guys. I'll try to get one out tomorrow so that way just to give people a more updated look. But pretty much this is the last week of the season for these guys. So this is a big one. And then week 9 is just either the first round of the playoffs, or you can just schedule to play another team that's not as good that didn't make the playoffs, so you can fill out a 9-game schedule. So let's wrap up quickly, Paul, before you have to go. Your upset of the week, you're going with a good one.
Yeah, I'm going with, I like West Line over Central Line. I think this is going to be a crazy close game. The only reason I even thought about this is because West Line's defense is really good, and we saw Central Line kind of randomly struggle. And I think it was Newman Catholic, correct?
Yep.
So that's my only reason. I like West Line's defense a lot this year, but last time I doubted Central Line, they went on to win the state championship.
Now remember, you're picking West Line here. That means you have to pick West Line on our game.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Paul's trying to catch up.
I actually thought about Clear Lake and Humboldt low-key because Humboldt
That's a good one.
That's disgusting. But
I think the boys keep the train rolling. Give me Nevada over Creston. That's my upset of the week. I think Nevada comes off the win against Harlan. I'm going to hope that they don't get too emotional over that win. Creston has a good schedule, but their strength of schedule hasn't been as good. Just saying. Only beat Harlan by 3, I think. Nevada took care of Harlan.
Yep.
I know Creston's going to be itching chomping at the bit to beat this Nevada team because that would really help them out. Winner goes to the district championship or wins the district championship. I think the Cubs keep it rolling. I'm not picking against Nevada. I'll take Nevada over Creston as my upset of the week. So that'll do it. A lot of talking in this episode. Technically, Paul and I almost named every team in the state in a way today. So we except 5A, I guess. But no, I guess we did almost every
single 1A. Or 2A and A team. I named like everyone.
Okay, well, there you go. I pretty much named everyone. So there you go. Your team got named today. So there's your RPI for this week. There's this week's midweek episode. Paul and I will try to get our preview out tomorrow, Thursday. We'll see if we can get it out. We're going to try. We're going to try to get them out because there's a lot of good games to talk about. We appreciate everyone for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, like the video, shows us that you're liking the content that we're putting out. And don't forget to follow Bound Iowa on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. He's Paul Erridge. I'm Blake Walker. Thanks for watching Bound to Talk Football. We'll see you in a couple days.